Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you my strategy for taking profit on my grid bots. Now, if you're not familiar with how a grid bot actually operates, a grid bot is made up of open sell and open buy limit orders. And that is what actually makes up the grid. And on this chart, you can see there are green lines that represent the open buy limit orders, and there are red lines that make up the open limit sell orders, and that is what creates your grid. And so when the price action drops and hits the green lines, it executes an open buy order and buys low. And when the price action reverses and goes back up and starts hitting the red lines, it executes the open limit sell orders and sells for profit. So you're buying the dip and selling the rip. You're buying low, selling high. And that is how a grid bot generates profit. So with that all being said, we'll jump over here to my BITSGAP dashboard. Now, BITSGAP is my #1 go-to platform when it comes to grid bots. And you can actually get started with BITSGAP for free. They offer a 7-day free trial. And I will drop a link in the description down below. And if you use my link for your 7-day free trial, you'll have access to the Pro plan. Now, once your free trial expires, you can get started for as little as $24 a month. However, if you want the trailing up and trailing down features, which really is the main weapon of BITSGAP, then you'll want to step up to, at minimum, the advanced plan, which will also get you 5 active live trading bots. Now, jumping back over here to my BITSGAP dashboard, you can see I recently closed out a few grid bots under my spot history. You can see some closed grid bots. And so there are a few different reasons for shutting down a grid bot. The first would be a stop loss, and that's to prevent any further loss on a position. And BITSGAP does allow you to move your stop loss up, and so you could actually use that trailing stop loss essentially to lock in profits. Another reason that I would shut down a grid bot would be if that bot is underperforming. Now, for me, for my strategy, and all of this is my strategy, it's not financial advice. I do not suggest you copy what I do. My risk tolerance is more than likely very different than your risk tolerance. So you will need to sit down and come up with your own battle plan on how you want to capture profit with your grid bots. But with that being said, I do have an expectation from my grid bots, and that is typically about 1% profit per day, unless it's something like Bitcoin or ETH. They're not quite as volatile. So for both Bitcoin and ETH, about 0.5% profit per day would be winning the battle, in my opinion. So you might be wondering, why did I shut down this ETH USDT grid bot that was actually achieving 0.63% profit per day and had only been running for about 10 days. And yet you can see I did close the bot on October 20th at around 7:22 a.m. where I'm located. And the answer to that is Bitcoin was hitting an all-time high and ETH was pumping up with it. And I decided to take advantage of that pump and lock in profit, because typically when Bitcoin hits an all-time new high, there is a pullback. And I didn't want to give up any profit on that pullback. And lo and behold, here we are 3 days later, and Bitcoin has pulled back about $6,000. And ETH also bounced right up against its all-time new high and has also pulled back. And so for me, I have a variety of strategies, and all-time new highs is one of them for closing a grid bot, or any bot for that matter, and locking in profit. Now, you might be asking yourself, isn't the battle plan for a grid bot to buy those dips down after hitting those highs? Yes and no. If you're okay riding this all the way back down and then perhaps moving sideways like we see Cardano doing, and not really recapturing that profit perhaps for days, weeks, or months, that's fine. For me, I like to take that profit, put that dry powder away, and perhaps redeploy when we hit down around here for that next explosion up. There's no wrong or right way to execute a grid bot as long as it meets your battle plan. My battle plan, all-time highs, take profit. Back in 2017-18, I watched a whole lot of traders in crypto as I was trading in crypto ride that bear market to the bottom, and I had sold out of a lot of my positions. I still had long-term hold positions that I had no intentions of selling, but I did take profits, and I just did a video a couple days ago on taking profits on Bitcoin itself, not a grid bot, but just actually selling some of my Bitcoin so that when Bitcoin does enter a bear market, I can take that profit that I've sold at the all-time new high and perhaps double or triple up my Bitcoin holdings. And if you missed that video, you might want to shoot that subscribe button right now so you don't miss future videos. Now, if we scroll back down to my closed bots, you can see ADA's the next target, and it was just truly underperforming. And in reality, it was in a negative position, although the bot profit was positive, and that's probably a subject I need to touch on. It appears that no matter how many times I tell you grunts how to determine your profit on BITSGAP, you're all still struggling with that. Bot profit is not the profit at the end of the day. The change percentage will be your actual P&L. And if you want to see a better detail of that, you just click on the detail button, and bot profit, while it is profit that the bot generated by taking out those limit orders, if the price of your asset that you hold, because remember, you have to hold some ADA in order to sell it on the way up, but if the price dumps, your overall P&L can be negative. And if you look here, my bot profit was 3.17%, or the bot's P&L was 16 USDT. But when I closed this bot, because ADA had dumped from the time that I initially launched it, my actual realized profit was only $6.22 versus the 16. Now, with that being said, had I not deployed a grid bot and the bot achieved this 16 USDT in profit and I had just bought and held, I would have actually been in a negative position. So I hope this kind of clears this up for everybody. Your initial funds are what you actually started out with. The bot profit is a summary of what the bot was able to capture in profit when moving up and taking out these stop limit orders. The current funds are the actual funds that will show up as P&L on your exchange. And so for ADA, my P&L was $6, not $16. And this is part of the reason why I shut ADA down, was to lock in profit, because I knew that we would see a pullback in crypto after Bitcoin's all-time new high, and this number would have turned negative on me. And rather than having it do that, I captured profit, and I will redeploy another ADA bot. And in fact, I already have redeployed a new ADA bot at the lower price range. And you can see I deploy a lot of ADA bots. This one down here, I closed at the beginning of October. Again, it was underperforming and it had pulled back. And you can see bot profit was almost 7%, and I only ended up capturing about 2%. Now you might ask yourself, why do I keep deploying bots on ADA? I have made a lot of money on grid bots on ADA. Sometimes it's these small profits, but when it is ADA's turn to pump, it pumps and it outperforms Bitcoin and ETH hands down. We're just not at that point right now. That time is coming, unless of course we're headed back into a bear market right now, but I think we still have some pump ahead of us. Now, if we skip over here to BTC, you can see it was also hitting its 0.5% profit per day. But again, I closed it right when Bitcoin was pretty much hitting its all-time high, thus locking in the profit and not letting that slip away when the price dumped. VET, same thing, was hitting its 1%. That's a little more volatile, and as such I do shoot for 1% profit. It was definitely achieving that. However, again, I closed it right around Bitcoin's all-time high, and I will be looking to redeploy bots on most of these positions after we get the shakeout from this all-time new high. Sol was another underperformer. I was willing to give it about 3 or 4 more days to see if it would pop, but when we hit all-time new highs, for me, that is the time to lock in profit, and so I did just that. Now, if we briefly jump over here to OKX, here was an opportunity that I actually missed, and the reality is I deployed this grid bot about 7 days ago. There is a video in the playlist when I created and deployed this bot, so you can check that out in my playlist. And in reality, I forgot I had this bot even live and running. And so here's another example of grid profit is $20. Variable profit, which again is the P&L from actually holding Bitcoin, because again, I have to hold Bitcoin in order to sell Bitcoin on the way up. And that's a negative number because Bitcoin went to all-time highs. I had my price range at 56,000 to 66,000. And when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, I think I was up something like this $20. And had I closed the bot and locked in that profit, I'd have been good to go. However, I forgot about this bot and the price has since retraced. I've bought more Bitcoin on the way down. However, since the price is going down, I have a negative variable P&L, which then brings my total P&L down to this 1162 USDT. And this figure is essentially the same as the change percentage on BITSGAP. And so for those of you who say BITSGAP is misleading or trying to fool you with the profits, most your grid platforms report both, so you have an idea of both. More intel when you're doing recon is not a bad thing. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. I just wanted to do a quick video to share with you my strategy for capturing profit from my grid bots. And so if you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. If you like grid bot trading, you might want to shoot that subscribe button. I make a lot of videos on deploying grid bots. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comment section down below. I will drop a link to BITSGAP in the description down below, and you can get that 7-day free trial of the Pro plan by using that link. And in closing, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.